This month, the Pittsburgh Opera is presenting its first ever performances of Haydn's spellbinding Aramida. It's a tale all about whether to chase love or follow your duty. The Prince of Darkness sends the enchantress Aramida to seduce and destroy the heroic knight Rinaldo. But as they fall in love with each other, both need to decide between obeying their orders or going with their hearts. Plus, there's a revenge plot to make things extra exciting. Fall into Aramida's clutches from January 25th through February 2nd. That's Pittsburgh Opera. Where can we take you? Learn more at pittsburghopera.org/citycast. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, it was a big weekend. A law firm's got its name front and center where Icy Light used to be. A new grocery is finally coming to town. Our football team did not prevail for the 5th year in a row. Plus, we've got another hockey heist, more U.S. Steel drama, and a few fun events to take you into the weekend. It's Friday, January 17th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. I'm with CityCast Sophia Lowe. Good morning.
Good morning.
If y'all are new here every Friday, a few of us on the team, sometimes some extra people, we go through some of the biggest news of the week. Today, we are kicking it off with a trivia question.
Yes, and if you are a regular Hey Pittsburgh reader, you know that we've added these little quizzes to the newsletter and the website, but now we are bringing it to the pod on Fridays too.
Yep, so here we go. Earlier this week, the massive red and white Iron City sign atop Mount Washington was replaced by an ad for the local law firm, Pond Lehocky.
R.I.P.
Am I saying that right? I'm not actually sure.
I think so, but I mean, I think everyone prefers beer in giant letters.
They're not like Edgar Snyder and Associates or Senderovich and Fishman. Like, I'm used to their TV ads, so I know how to say it. You got to support the twins. Well, while this billboard is most well known for Pittsburgh Brewing Company and those Icy Light ads over the years, other companies like Bayer and Sprint and Alcoa, they have all had spots on this big coveted billboard over there. But Sophia, when was the billboard first constructed?
Ooh.
Yeah. Do you know?
I don't know. I feel like we've talked about this billboard before, so I should know, but I don't. So best guess, I don't know, like 1950?
I don't actually know the answer, which is part of the fun of this. I do know that I have seen, I'll give a little bit of hint for anybody who goes to our website to play. I know for sure that I've seen black and white photos of this thing. So I know.
So not 1950, probably then.
It depends on the print publication. When they
I could take a black and white photo now.
Honestly. I know it goes back a ways, but that's part of the fun of this. We're not going to reveal the answer here on our Friday shows.
So head to pittsburgh.citycast.fm to find the answer. Very exciting.
Totally.
So on to the news. Really big stuff for grocery store lovers. Wegmans has officially confirmed its first store in our region. Yay!
Sophia is like a Wegmans hype person.
I am.
And I like how you said confirmed, because we talked about Wegmans coming to Pittsburgh back in June of 2024.
And I had the same reaction. Yay! I manifested really hard and it's here. You're welcome, everyone.
I know, honestly.
Everyone was, really.
But this time, the company has acknowledged that, yes, this is real, and yes, we are actually coming.
Yeah, and they've confirmed that they are going to be in Cranberry by the Lemieux Sports Complex. So it's going to be part of this whole Cranberry Springs development. So it's going to include other retail. There's office spaces, luxury housing.
I drive by this space all the time. It's going to be a minute because it is currently like an enormous grassy hillside. Like, there is no sign of any of this luxury yet.
Yeah, that's because people will come for the Wegmans, so they've got to get up first. But there's not really a ton of details on when it's going to open or even like break ground yet. But when it does, they say they'll need 400 to 500 employees, and the plan is to hire most of them locally.
Yeah, and I know, Sophia, you're going to be on top of it because, like I said, I don't think I know anyone who is more excited about this than you are.
Same. Well, Pittsburgh subreddit was also buzzing about this. The top comment, like 700 upvotes when I last checked, was
That's pretty good.
I dropped to my knees in Giant Eagle. So I think people just want more grocery store options here.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny that someone pointed out that Giant Eagle's corporate headquarters is in Cranberry.
They just moved over there.
Yeah, very recent. So that's really funny. Give me a grocery store fight. Lure me in with your lowest prices.
I mean, yes, please, honestly. And supposedly Wegmans could open another store around Pittsburgh in the future. I like how they confirm one and now they're already being like, yeah, maybe one more.
They got to keep building the hype.
Honestly. At least that's what the VP of Real Estate and Store Planning told media this week. South Fayette was the rumor, like in the South Hills for part of last year, which
That's good. One in the north, one in the south.
Right. I think that's very targeted, which that VP also said nice things about, like we would be glad to land there. We're very familiar with the area. But I wouldn't get too excited about the first one or the second one just yet, because the VP said that the best guesstimate about the first store right now is late 2027.
Again, very guesstimate, like they have not released a concrete timeline yet. So still TBD.
But the Cranberry Township Facebook page does have details about like some of that stuff. So if you really want to know the grocery minutia, skip the Wegmans PR and go straight to Cranberry. They're pretty public with their stuff. Today's show is sponsored by the Frick Pittsburgh Museum and Gardens and a new award-winning tour of their historic home, Clayton. It's called Gilded, Not Golden, and it's a new spin on the old Frick family stories. Yes, you're going to learn about the mansion and Pittsburgh's Millionaires Row, but this tour is not about oohing and eyeing over the possessions of a man who famously, notoriously, played a very big role in the Homestead riots and the birth of the entire American labor movement. It gives you more, the complexities of the man, his wealth, and exactly where it came from. If you've taken a Clayton tour before, it is time to return. So tour facilitators can take you back to 1892, the year of the riots, the year someone tried to kill Henry Clay Frick, and the year he mourned the loss of two of his children. Plus more on his corporate legacy, wealth inequality, and Frick's lasting impact on our environment. History is complicated, and that's what the Frick wants to share with you. The Frick's new signature tour of Clayton, Gilded, Not Golden, is now open for the season. Get your tickets and learn more at thefrickpittsburgh.org.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
Sophia, how do you think the Steelers season is going right now?
Oh, I know it's going bad because I placed a sports bet on the wild card game. Look, they got me. The apps got me with mail.
Wait, you mean like all the sports betting, like
yeah, like
apps and
FanDuel? Basically, I had to pay $10, but the payout could have been $840 since like the Steelers had such bad odds. I deleted the app. I'm done. But like I just did the math and I was like, this seems worth it just in case.
Sophia, we're going to talk about your sports betting later. For the last 8 years, we have not managed to win a single playoff game. Like even if we get to the playoffs, we don't go any further. Like it's a one and done. And for 5 of those years, we didn't go to the playoffs at all. Like we got to finish the season and that was it. So it's very sad. I feel like it makes the whole city just like a little more dreary, especially in the midst of all of this snow.
Right. Some good news would have definitely been nice.
Yeah, like I just feel like it like changes the energy of the city because of all the collective sports fans. Like even if you don't care at all about football, like it just makes everyone a teeny bit happier.
And that's nice. Like as a non-sports fan, I still think that's very nice.
But one thing I did want to point out, because I was talking to some friends about it and they didn't realize this, and I just thought it was interesting if you've never thought about it. So at any other team, if you were looking at like 8 years of a dry spell like that, you might expect that like, you know, team ownership, the Rooneys might change it up in terms of like the coaching staff.
Okay.
That's like common
that makes
in sports.
sense.
Yeah. If you have a bad year or a bad series of years, you like dump the coach and get a new person in. Not here in Pittsburgh. So let's go through a few fun facts. First of all, versions of football go back hundreds of years. I think this is like really funny. One of the first
like
groups,
football as in American football, not soccer football.
I think going back way back, it's like closer to what we would identify as soccer.
Okay.
But one of the first groups to professionalize what we now call American football was the Allegheny Athletic Association.
Ooh, hometown.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh area has been kind of in the mix with this for as long as American football has existed. That was in 1892. And the Steelers came along as like a professional organization in 1933. So we're coming up on 100 years of Steelers football, which is kind of wild to think about. But it took until the 70s. We started in 33.
That's a minute.
The 70s before we started to actually win championships, which of course we now call the Super Bowl. We've played in 8 of them. We have won 6 of them, which is tied for the most in NFL history.
Okay, so like we have really good moments, really moments.
I mean, most of the moments were in the past,
Okay.
except one could now argue that we've had like a long enough dry spell that it's like making Steelers fans, which are used to winning historically. Like I feel like, older people here in town, like they got used to winning multiple championships in the 70s. So now they expect to do well now, even though it is 50 plus years later.
Gotcha.
Anyway, since that period in the 70s when we were very, very good, we have had only 3 head coaches total. 55
Whoa.
years, only 3 dudes have ever led the Steelers team. So their names were Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin.
Familiar with that last one.
Yep. Tomlin's still around, of course, which I think kind of goes back to what I was saying before. Like analysts this week, talking about how the Steelers did in the playoffs, which was not great, are making this huge fuss about how maybe there should be a change. Because
when you say analysts, like in general or like Pittsburgh-based ones?
Oh, well, both. I mean,
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean like in the greater like conversation of sports ball, writ large, but also like WDVE has been talking about it nonstop all week long. Yeah, like if you have like, kind of a bad spell, like in other cities, there might be a coaching change, but not here. The Rooneys just do not fire people. In fact, they signed.
That's nice.
I mean, in a way, yeah, like they signed Mike Tomlin to a 3-year deal. So that was last year, worth $37 million.
Whoa.
37.5. I mean, they could still make a change, but like Mike Tomlin gave a press conference this week that's just like, yeah, nobody's trading for me. I'm staying right here. Like, and I thought it was.
Oh, man. Players like him, though, right?
The players, a lot of players this week were like TJ Watt and some others. I'd only mention him because he's so high profile. Like, we're really like talking about how great Mike is, and it's not the problem. They're putting the onus on themselves. Like, we're not playing good enough. It's not coach,
Aww.
it's us. And it's not clear that changing the coach would change anything. But I just thought it was like really funny and maybe worth pointing out that like Pittsburgh is very uniquely endeared to its coaches. Like, for example, those last 2, Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin, 2 head coaches since 1992 total. The Penguins in that same amount of time have had 12 head coaches. The Pirates have had 8.
Huh. Way more.
Yeah. So anyway.
Sucks for the Steelers, but
See you next year.
that's true. Have they had a worse week than Evgeni Malkin?
Look at you, Sophia. You pronounced it correctly.
Woo! I practiced before and I saw this news in the Hey Pittsburgh newsletter.
No, probably not. Poor Gino. So the team announced this week that his home in Sewickley Heights was burglarized and his 3 Stanley Cup rings were stolen. Stanley Cup is the championship. The ring is
not the cup with the
not the
handle.
cup itself. That is very protected. Lives elsewhere. There's
I was
only
talking
one
about the
of them.
water bottle, but
No, not the Stanley. Not pastel colored either. Yeah, you get like the big fancy ring covered in diamonds. And
That's
they're
fun.
like really custom for every championship year. It's a total bummer to like lose your big prize.
Yeah, totally. And he won championships in 2009, 2016, and 2017, all with the Pens.
Yeah, he spent his entire career here. Those back-to-back years were really special. The parades alone were really fun. Like, there's just a lot of like little baby penguins dressed in like all kinds of cute outfits marching through downtown. It was good. The team didn't share a ton of detail about the burglary, but the FBI is involved because I guess Malkin is just like the latest in a string of professional athletes that have been targeted.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, so like while they're away, sometimes playing their sport, the FBI said this was a story from New Year's Eve that at least 9 athletes just between that September and November period had been targeted, and even more since then.
So, like, are players worried? Are they, like, getting Ring cameras? What's up?
I mean, Malkin had a whole security system.
That makes sense. Like, I would expect that
in
someone that high profile would have some sort of security.
Yeah, I mean, CBS reported a couple weeks ago that it's been so bad that the FBI issued an official notice to players, like advising them of ways to protect their homes, especially when they're playing out of town, because the tactics that these people are using seem kind of wild. Like, they're using some kind of tech to bypass the existing security systems that players have, which the FBI says is consistent with stuff that international criminal organizations do. International criminals. This sounds like an Ocean's 11 plot line to me.
Maybe this will be a movie one day.
One day. I mean, I hope that Gino gets his rings back. The team didn't confirm that, what the FBI was talking about is what happened to Malkin, but it fits the pattern of what sports journalists have been covering for a while. I did ask a friend of ours, friend of the pod, Rob Rossi, whether Gino can get new rings made, and apparently that is a thing. The original designs of the rings are kept on file. The jeweler that would have made them could theoretically make a new one if that's what Malkin wants to do.
So who's our city's biggest player? Who should watch out now?
Oh, I mean, I would argue maybe Sidney Crosby. TJ Watt and Cam Hayward are pretty high profile too, but they've never won a championship, so there's no ring to steal.
Well, apparently, superstars beware. Okay, some good news, bad news time. Bad news first. Around 40% of homes in Pennsylvania are estimated to have radon above the federal guideline, and radon can increase your risk for lung cancer.
Sophia, what is radon?
It is this colorless, odorless gas. It comes from rock, soil, and water, and it gets into your home through cracks in the walls and foundations.
So I can't know that it's happening, and there's no way to protect myself?
Here's the good news. January is National Radon Action Month, so you can get a free radon test kit to make sure that your home is safe and sound. Allegheny County is giving them out. They've got 900, first come, first serve, so hurry up, make that call now. It's one test kit per household. You just give them a call at 412-350-4046. You can pick up the test in Polish Hill, and then you ship your kit to figure out the radon levels in your home.
I guess remind us the danger thresholds for radon. Say you get the kit, then what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, lower the better. Like I said, lung cancer is a potential consequence, but the EPA recommends radon mitigation if you get a reading between 2 and 4 picocuries per liter. That's kind of a fun measurement. If your reading's above 4 picocuries per liter, you definitely need to reduce radon levels at home. The state has a radon hotline if you have any questions, because they can give you advice, next steps, help you with your reading, suggest whether you might need another test. It's on the Department of Environmental Protection's website. It is linked in our show notes as well.
Oh, is radon is that a thing you get a second opinion on? You take one test and then you take a second one?
I think it's maybe you want to confirm your results and stuff.
Yeah, so it's really bad, and I need to know, in fact, is it really bad, or is that test really bad?
I mean, I think it never hurts to double check, because the solution would be a radon mitigation system, and the average cost for that can be $1,000. They could go up to $2,000, and tests much cheaper than that.
Yeah.
Basically, someone will install fans and pipes that get the radon out.
I mean, I know you've done a radon test yourself, because I remember us talking about it last year. Do you have any other suggestions, recommendations?
Yeah, my suggestion in case Allegheny County runs out is to borrow a test from the Millvale Library. That's what I did. It is also totally free because the library's great. That one, you do the readings yourself, and it takes a couple of weeks because you do the readings over time. It's about 2 weeks. It's not like you just put it in and leave it in your house for a day. And like I said, good option if the county runs out, and also you can get this any time of year. And then you can also buy a kit from Home Depot or Lowe's for $10 to $20.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was buying a house too, or looking around at houses, if you've purchased recently, your seller agreement may have that listed, because it's usually part of the inspection situation, and they have to disclose if there's any kind of existing radon problem.
Mm-hmm. And, it's a good thing that there's a system that you can get it fixed. So it's not the end of the world if you find radon in your home, but still important to test. Happy testing.
No kidding. Well, before we head into the weekend, we wanted to bring you a few extra stories that we're going to be thinking about. Unfortunately, there is more U.S. Steel news.
Again and again. They need to wrap this up.
It really keeps on giving. Since our episode earlier this month, we'll put it in the show notes, the Biden administration has extended its deadline for U.S. Steel and Nippon Steel to abandon their deal. We talked about this before, but both companies have since filed lawsuits against both the federal government and against Cleveland Cliffs and others. Meanwhile, Cleveland Cliffs, that rival based in Ohio, they say that they're going to make a new bid to purchase U.S. Steel. They tried to buy them a couple years ago. The price then was significantly less than what Nippon offered. It is still significantly less than what Nippon offered.
Right. Nippon was offering like $15 billion. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And I mean, I tried to do some back of the napkin math, and I think it looks like Cleveland Cliffs offer is like around half that. But the only firm numbers I've seen online are like the shareholder
price.
It's
by share, and that's confusing.
And I don't feel qualified to do that kind of math. But anyway, it looks like a whole lot less.
And it was also widely reported this week that Cleveland Cliffs, if they do get U.S. Steel, they're going to be selling it to a different rival based in North Carolina.
Yeah, like right away. So like that other company, Nucor, is part of this deal. Like I am so I don't understand like the corporate
it's like a little gift
like situation.
Here you go. I'm giving you a company.
Yeah, like I don't understand what incentive U.S. Steel could possibly have to say yes to this.
Right.
But I'm sure there's scheming happening behind the scenes. Meanwhile, locals are now lobbying the Trump administration. So since Biden extended this deadline, the idea is that Trump could potentially reverse it. He'll be president here on Monday, and he could theoretically change his whole stance on the deal and allow it to go through. Reminder, of course, Inauguration Day is Monday, which is also Martin Luther King Day. Auspicious date.
Well, if you're looking for weekend events, maybe, distract yourself before Monday or, just partying up to lift your spirits from the cold. I am thinking about a lot of fun things. First up, Winter Heat. It's at the Carnegie Art Museum. It's tonight from 8 to midnight. So the main events in the Hall of Sculpture and DJ Ari Cole will be there, plus performance art. It sounds super fun. They've been putting this on for a couple years now. It's $30 to get in, $25 if you're a museum member.
One more that I am very excited about, a little bit of a hot take. Apteka's normal menu is not always for me. I know it is one of the most beloved restaurants in this entire town, and I do not begrudge other people's great experiences. But Crapteka, the special thing that they do every January, that is exactly for me. I love their junk food menu.
Yeah, if you're not familiar, Apteka in Bloomfield does this pop-up every single year when they switch from their usual vegan Central Eastern European menu to vegan burgers.
It's burgers, it's fries, it's milkshakes. I am so into it. I love it.
It's ongoing. It's running until February 3rd. Reminder, they're not open the full week, so limited pre-orders opened up on Wednesday, but the rest is dine-in. You gotta bundle up, wait in line. I am the flip side of you, Megan. I love Apteka. I think Crapteka is a little bit overrated.
I know.
I'm glad I did it, but I don't know if I need to go again. I want the pierogies.
Yeah, I like that we are completely reversed in terms of our culinary tastes on this one. Give us another one.
Yeah, next up is a Mac Miller birthday tribute. That's happening on Sunday, January 19th, the day of his birthday. So that's at Thunderbird Cafe and Music Hall in Lawrenceville. Doors at 7, show starts at 8. So the night starts with a listening party for Balloonerism. And then after that, a tribute band is doing live music. For this one, tickets are $20, and then day of, if you buy at the door, it's going to be $25.
Of course, Mac Miller, the hip hop artist who unfortunately passed away a few years ago, super young, so talented, and from Pittsburgh. He went to Alderdice.
Yeah. And then one more music event for MLK Day on the Monday. The Kelly Strayhorn Theater in East Liberty is doing their annual Let Freedom Sing concert. It's going to start at 7:30 p.m. Pay what moves you. And they're also encouraging folks who are coming to bring an item to donate to the EECM food pantry. And also check out Kelly Strayhorn's website because they've got some other events earlier in the day on Martin Luther King Day as well.
That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Since we recorded, there's been an unusual twist to the tale of Malkin's missing rings. They aren't missing anymore. The rings were found elsewhere in Gino's home. Details are still kind of scarce. It is still an open investigation, and the FBI is apparently still involved. And we here at CityCast are still very curious what exactly must have gone down. Our music is by Benji. Mallory Falk is our executive producer. Sophia Lowe, Selena Cia Reynolds, and Elizabeth Kama produced the show this week. Francesca DeBecco writes our newsletter, and I am your host, Megan Harris. We'll be back on Tuesday in observance of Martin Luther King Day with more news from around the city. Have a great weekend, everyone.
For the record, I do not condone sports betting.